right away, they start cramming in references to the Disney Parks rides. The ghost host says, "No flash pictures, please."
Yes, the ghosts are frightfully sensitive. A lot of the language, especially at the beginning of the movie, comes directly from the ride.
One of my favorite jokes in the whole movie is right up front when they're riding the stretching room elevator. In the attraction in the parks, there is this blood-curdling scream after you look up and you see someone who's hanged themselves in the rafters up there.
Which they left out because they Disneyfied it.
It's a little
They were
grim.
like, maybe not the dangling corpse.
Yeah, maybe not. And in the movie, it's a screaming goat.
It is, and the lights come on and there's a goat screaming, and everyone's like, "What?" And then that's like one of the running gags in the entire movie. The screaming goat just keeps coming back, and I think it's like the last thing at the end too.
The goat must have tested well.
Yeah. More goats! Yes. They do a ballroom scene. It's incredibly dense with all the ballroom ghosts, but one that was particularly funny, if you remember, and again, they Disneyfied it, they're dueling ghosts. There are two portraits, they're back to back, and the ghosts come alive and turn and shoot at each other.
Right.
So instead of having ghosts with guns in the Muppets Disney movie, they turn and say, "Draw!" And then they start like furiously like scribbling.
Yeah, they both have little
on
sketch pads.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute.
I think the Hatbox Ghost is unique to the Disneyland version of the ride.
Yeah, if you've only ridden the Disney World version, you might be like, "What's that?"
It inspired a character in Muppets Haunted Mansion, Gauzy the Hatbox Ghost. It's the Hatbox Bear.
The Hatbox Bear.
Gauzy
yes,
the
of
Hatbox
course.
Bear.
It's Fozzie, of course.
Yeah.
He's doing his typical terrible comedy routine, but, occasionally his head disappears and appears in the box. There are just so many Muppet characters that, must appear if you're going to the trouble to make a Muppets movie.
Yeah.
So there were plenty of opportunities to put characters in because there's 999 haunts at the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But it means that a lot of really popular characters were only cameos. Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker were just the busts. Miss Piggy had a pretty big role as Madame Pigota instead of Madame Leota. I loved that they still got Statler and Waldorf in there. And they're heckling Fozzie, of course. Yeah, as they always do. They're making Fozzie almost cry. My favorite part of the Doom Buggy was that they got stuck. Which, if you ride the ride, that almost always happens. But your Doom Buggy will pause, and there's always, a ghostly voice that comes over to tell you to stay in your Doom Buggy.
Playful spooks have interrupted our tour. Please remain seated in your Doom Buggy.
There was a mug part. I remember it because it's a Trader Sam's style tiki mug, and I think it's a skull head. Is it during a musical number?
It's a shrunken zombie head, and I think it's pretty much the mug that you can get a drink in at Trader Sam's. It's in the second musical number, which is in the ballroom, and it's The Life Hereafter. At some point, the chef comes out to serve drinks, and they're in the shrunken zombie head tiki mugs. The song was inspired, and there's many references to Be Our Guest, the Beauty and the Beast song. And in fact, I think it was originally envisioned to be like a way heavier parody of that song.
Okay.
But there's at least 4 or 5 lines in there that are almost directly taken from Be Our Guest, or spoofs from Be Our Guest. Look for the Beauty and the Beast Be Our Guest lines in there because it's really cute.
I actually don't know the answer to this, and I went looking and I can't find it. So I'm asking you, did I hear Thurl Ravencroft's voice in the hallway scene?
Gonzo's running down the hall to save Pepe, and he's running past all the, spooky doors. Some of them are, have the knockers going, and some of them just have, growling behind it.
Yeah, and there's moaning, and that's where the pulsating, stretching door is. I swear I hear a Thurl Ravenscroft voice saying, "Let me out of here!"
It did sound a lot like him, so, it was either a snippet of his voice, or...
But I feel like, is that that in the actual ride? It must be.
I think it might be.
But I've never noticed it in the ride.
What was up with the Shining reference?
Oh, the two pigs in the hallway.
Yeah, they had twin pigs.
Did they say come play with us?
Yeah, or come join us or something like that. But yeah, it's a total Shining reference, which was funny because I don't know how many other references there are in the movie that are just non-Disney, non-ride.
Right, just straight up horror movie references.
Yeah,
Someone comes and cleans Madame Pigota's crystal ball, and then Piggy sneezes in it right after it's clean. It's Kim Irvine, and Kim Irvine is an Imagineer, a lifelong Imagineer, one of these people who grew up going to Disneyland and then became part of making Disneyland. And one of the reasons she grew up going to Disneyland is that her mom is Leota Toombs, who was also an Imagineer, but the namesake for Madame Leota, the head in the crystal ball. And Kim Irvine is the modern Madame Leota. The biological daughter of the original Madame Leota does Haunted Mansion Holiday Edition. She does the new Madame Leota lines. I don't know for sure who does Little Leota, the figurine at the end. That says hurry back.
Which they also have in the movie.
But that is a deep cut cameo. I want to talk about the biggest spoiler of all.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
It's the Muppets Haunted Mansion. It's not The Sixth Sense.
True, but there is a big reveal at the end, and we're about to spoil it.
Yep.
Ready?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
The ghost host is the ghost of the Great MacGuffin. I thought that this was the cleverest part of this movie, of an already really clever movie, and maybe it's just because it makes me feel really proud of myself for getting it. MacGuffin is a word that was not invented by Alfred Hitchcock, but Alfred Hitchcock did popularize its use, and basically it is the reason that the action moves forward in a story. It's the microfilm that the spies are chasing.
That's the MacGuffin. The microfilm is the MacGuffin.
It's what the characters in the story care about, but the audience doesn't. And so the Great MacGuffin is literally the thing that pulled you through the story.
Yeah,
he's your ghost host. He takes you from room to room. I think red herring is a false MacGuffin.
What's in his pocket?
A red herring.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Do we have a message from our sponsor?
Yeah, now's a good time for sponsor message.
We do not have a sponsor.
That is correct.
Did you know that YouTube only loves you if you have 1,000 subscribers? It is sad but true.
We do get to unlock some cool stuff like mobile live streaming.
Just fancy features. Let us do more things.
Sub, like, bell. Lori, Drew, farewell.